So today we're gonna read the book of Jonah, and we're gonna talk about the belly of the whale. We're gonna follow the story. We're gonna see what's actually going on, and we're gonna call it for what it is. All right. So let's get to it. All right. Let's go ahead and get to it. Jonah, chapter 1. Jonah sent to Nineveh, flees to Tarshish. Now the word of the Lord came unto Jonah, the son of Amittai, saying, Arise, go to Nineveh, that great city, and cry against it, for their wickedness is come up before me. But Jonah rose up to flee unto Tarshish from the presence of the Lord, and went down to Joppa, and he found a ship going to Tarshish. So he paid the fare thereof, and went down into it, to go with them unto Tarshish from the presence of the Lord. All right. So now we see he went down into Tarshish, right? He paid money to go down there. And it said he left the presence of the Lord. So we know the Lord wasn't present with him personally, right? So we know this must mean in the mind. He left God in the beliefs. You know what I'm saying? He stopped believing in God, and he went to believe in false idols with the people of Tarshish. All right. Now it says the great storm. But the Lord sent out a great wind into the sea, and there was a mighty tempest in the sea, so that the ship was like to be broken. Then the mariners were afraid, and cried every man unto his God. You notice they cried unto their God, right? You see that? Y'all see what I'm saying? So every man cried unto his God, not the main God, right? Their gods, and cast forth the wares that were in the ship into the sea, to lighten it of them. But Jonah was gone down into the sides of the ship, and he lay and was fast asleep. So the shipmaster came to him and said unto him, What meanest thou, O sleeper? Arise, come upon your God. It said, call upon your God, I'm sorry. If so, be that God would think upon us, that we perish not. Right? So the shipmaster came to him. So the shipmaster is the captain of the ship. He runs the whole ship. So why would he need Jonah to come help? Right? Jonah is a regular person like everybody else. He paid his fare, so he's a patron. That's why I made sure to let us know that, so that we can catch the fact that the shipmaster came to get him. So therefore, we're not talking about real water or a real ship or anything like that, or sea or any of that. We're speaking of people, right? Jonah to preach to the people. So the shipmaster was the one over all the people, trying to teach the people, right? But it was turmoil, turbulence, and all that. So they didn't get it. All right, now. So it said, and said unto him, What meanest thou, sleeper? Okay, perish not. All right, now 7. It says, And they said, every one to his fellow, Come, and let us cast lots, that we may know for whose cause this evil is upon us. So they cast lots, and the lot fell upon Jonah. Right? Then said they unto him, Tell us, we pray thee, for whose cause this evil is upon us? What is thine occupation? And whence comest thou? What is thy country? And what is thy people art? And say, and of what people art thou? And he said unto them, I am a Hebrew, and I fear the Lord, the God of heaven, which have made the sea and the dry land. Then, where the men exceedingly, when the men exceedingly, it say, then were the men exceedingly afraid, and said unto him, why hast thou done this? For the men knew that he had fled from the presence of the Lord, because he had told them. All right. So it say, why you left us hanging like this? Why y'all ain't come let us know the game? Why you didn't come straighten everything out, man? But anyway, they searching him out. It's time for him to go through the test. Time for him to be examined. Time for him to show and prove. Right? That's what the great storm is all about. So now Jonah cast into the sea and swallowed. Right? Not only did he get casted into the sea, they swallowed him alive. So now this is the process where people start challenging his beliefs. You know, they trying to stay gun-ho to their gods and the way they believe things. And Jonah is challenging them with God Almighty, you know, with the real word, right? So it say, then said they unto him, what shall we do unto thee, that the sea may be calm unto us? For the sea is wrought, and was tempestuous. I'll be having a hard time pronouncing that. All right. But, he said unto them, take me up, and cast me forth into the sea. So shall the sea be calm unto you. For I know that for my sake, this great tempest is upon you. Right? So he said, they've been tempted because of him. Because he's not giving them the business, let them know what time it is. So it's saying, cast me out to the people. Send me out there. Let me chop it up with them. Let me talk to them. All right? But at the same time, they paint the story as if it's a real sea, and then they saying they're going to cast them into the sea, and then the whale is going to come swallow them, right? But we know it ain't really go down like that for real. They ain't put the man into no real sea. And this man wouldn't even want to go to no real sea, neither go into no real sea, saying, throw me off in there. Man, please. All right. So it say in 13, nevertheless, the men rowed hard to bring it to land, but they could not. For the sea wrought and was tempestuous against them. Wherefore they cried unto the Lord and said, we beseech thee, O Lord, we beseech thee, let us not perish for this man's life, and lay not upon us in its blood. For thou, O Lord, hast done as it pleased thee. So it's like, hey, God, you have control of everything. How everything goes, how you designed it to go. You know what I mean? So everything that happens please thee. So don't let us be punished for this. And don't let us be punished for this man. All right? So notice also, it told them throw him into the sea so the sea could become calm, right? We know seas are generally rough on their own. They're just rough. Like, the rough seas, stuff like that, So, yeah. All right, but anyway, 15, it says, so they took up Jonah and cast him forth into the sea. And the sea and the sea ceased from raging. When the men feared the Lord exceedingly, then the man feared. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm skipping over letters, words, all that. It says, then the men feared the Lord exceedingly and offered a sacrifice unto the Lord and made vows. It say, now the Lord had appeared a great fish. Yeah, it's late night, y'all. I'm trying to go and knock this out at night. It's my third time actually doing this, for real. But now overlooking words stuff, getting a little sleepy, but no excuses. All right, let's do this. It say, now the Lord had prepared a great fish to swallow up Jonah. And Jonah was in the belly of the fish 3 days and 3 nights. All right, so catch that. 3 days, 3 nights. That sounds like 3 days, 3 nights with Jesus, and a few more people. So that lets you know that 3 days and 3 nights is representing like the death aspect of something, right? So now, say the belly of the fish, right? So in the belly of the fish, and then every time they say something about somebody preparing something, right? Every time God mentioned preparing something, I mean, it's basically like the wilderness. It's like getting them ready for the big showdown, so to speak, right? So you got a preparation, then you got a deliverance. So right now we're in the aspect of like just give God time to prepare something for you. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like I tell everybody, give me a little second, give me a little time, and I'm gonna have a place for you, place of rest. All right, let's get the two right quick. Let's go and run through that. It say then well the topic is Jonah's prayer. All right, so Jonah praying right now, and it say then Jonah prayed unto the Lord his God out of the fish's belly, and said, I cried by reason of mine affliction unto the Lord, and he heard me. Out of the belly of hell cried I, and thou heardest my voice. Now peep that. He said the reason why he was crying because of his affliction, right? Because of the things that he did, right? And then it says that he was in the belly of hell, which sounds like the belly of the beast to me. All right. And he said he cried out and God heard his voice. So this is prayer now. Remember that Zechariah prayed to God, Jesus prayed to God, Abraham prayed to God, Sarah prayed to God, countless other people prayed to God. And then he sent his angel and then he answered their prayer, right? But in this story, it's just kind of just wording it a little different. You see what I'm saying? To where you won't pick it up on it as easily. So, and that's how the rest of them are too. They kind of like put in their own story form, but the concrete aspect of the story is that you're gonna have a falling away from God, and then you're gonna have a reconciling. All right. So now it says in 3, for thou hast cast me into the deep, in the midst of the seas, and the floods compassed me about. All your billows, your waves passed over me. What it say? It say, then I said, I am cast out of thy sight. Yet I will look again toward thy holy temple. Right? So it say, I fell away, but I'm coming back, or I came back. Right? And then it say he was cast into the deep. You know what I mean? God moved upon the face of the deep. Stuff like that. That's just kind of stuff that pop out in my mind. Right? Then it was like he heard my voice and all that. All right. So it say the waters compassed me about, even to the soul. Right? Now, if he was in the belly of a whale or a fish, I mean, how would the waters go up to his soul? Okay? So now, it says the death closed me round about. The weeds were wrapped about my head. So basically, this like the thorns, huh? Like the crown. It said, I went down to the bottoms of the mountains. The earth with her bars was about me forever. Yet hast thou brought up my life from corruption, O Lord, my God. Right? It said, I went down to the bottoms of the mountains. That means I was at the lowest of the low. Nearly at the brink of death, needing a way to make it out. You see what I'm saying? That's where he was at with it. They say the earth with her bars. You know what I mean? Basically like the trials and tribulations of life, you feel me? All the afflictions and stuff. right? It said it was about him forever, like for a long time. And it said, yet has thou brought up my life from corruption. Okay, so that means that he was headed towards corruption and dealing in corruption at the bottom of the mountain, right? But he's saying God still spared him and made a way for him, right? Now 7, it say, when my soul fainted within me, I remembered the Lord, and my prayer came in unto thee, into thine holy temple. Okay, so it say my soul, when my soul fainted, that means he pretty much died, right? Then it say within me, right, on the inside, right? I remember the Lord. Okay, you know how people always remember God when they're in trouble. So that's basically how he explained it. Like, now he need God, so he called on him, right? And it say, and my prayer came in unto thee, into thine holy temple, right? To the mind. All right, so they that observe lying vanities forsake their own mercy. Okay, so they observe lying vanities, praying to false gods, all this kind of stuff, and they looking to be saved, and they want mercy, and they want help, right? But they ain't gonna get it because they forsaken their mercy by doing those things. All right, 9, they say, but I will sacrifice unto thee with the voice of thanksgiving. I will pay that I have owed. Salvation is of the Lord. And the Lord spake unto the fish, and it vomited out Jonah upon dry land. All right, so let me give y'all an example right quick about how this thing going with the vomiting out the mouth and all that. Let's check out the sin wave, right? The land, vomiting them out on the land. You feel me? He went down, he went through his cycle. Now he's going into the second period. All right. So now, as far as how the story goes, don't ask me how I caught that like that, but I did. All right. So let's go. So he said, spin them on dry land. Now watch what happens now. It say, and the word of God came into Jonah the second time. Now peep game now. Now I just told y'all about the sin wave, and they speaking of waves and the sea and all that. Okay, now look, this is where he at. He came back out. The line of time. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know how I clicked out of that, but I'm gonna go back right here. Boom. So now it says what the topic is. It say Jonah preaches to the Ninevites, right? So he just made it out. So he done went through the trial and tribulations. He done got prepared. So now he finna actually start preaching what he know. You know what I'm saying? He went through the learning process and went through the torture. Now he coming out. Now he about to come out fighting. You know, he got prepared, right? And now he about to put what he knows to the test. All right. So it say, and the word of the Lord came unto Jonah the second time, saying, Arise, go into Nineveh, that great city, and preach unto it the preaching that I bid thee. Right? So Jonah arose and went unto Nineveh, according to the word of the Lord. All right, so the first time when God told him to do this, he told this sound like the same thing, but this is the second time he told him. But this time he told him, go preach the word that he had bid him to preach, right? So that means the first time he didn't understand the word that God told him to preach, so he went somewhere else with it. You see what I'm saying? He didn't preach what he's supposed to be preaching. So this time he knew what the message was, and he knew what it was all about, right? So now he's ready. He's ready. He's prepared. He's been prepared, right? Or something like that. All right. So it says, so Jonah in 3. So Jonah arose and went into Nineveh, according to the word of the Lord. According to the word of the Lord, right? So that's letting you know that he actually hear him. He hear him now. He paying attention. All right. And so now Nineveh was an exceeding great city of 3 days' journey. See, now watch how they tell the whole story again. You remember how he mentioned 3 days and 3 nights, the last chapter or chapter before that, right? So that's letting you know that 3 days meaning like a full completion. You know what I'm saying? It's like a completion. So it was like a 3 days journey. You know what I'm saying? So he went through the journey. Now he had the even line, right? So it say, and Jonah began to enter into the city a day's journey, and he cried and said, yet 40 days, and Nineveh shall be overthrown. See, now peep that, 40 days. Remember, 40 days and 40 nights being tempted in the wilderness, all that kind of stuff. It's all the same referencing, all right? Just to point that out. All right, so it say Nineveh repents. All right, it say, so the people of Nineveh believed God and proclaimed a fast and put sackcloth from the greatest of them to the least of them. For word came unto the king of Nineveh, and he arose from his throne. Right? He laid his robe from him and covered him with sackcloth, and sat in ashes. And he caused it to be proclaimed and published through Nineveh by the decree of the king and his nobles, saying, let no man nor beast, herd nor flock taste anything. Let them not feed nor drink, but let man and beast be covered with sackcloth, and cry mightily unto God. Yea, let them turn every one from his evil way, and from the violence that is in their hands. Who can tell if God will turn and repent, and turn away from the fierce anger that perishes not? Say, turn away from his fierce anger, right? It say, who can tell if God will turn and repent and turn away from his fierce anger that we perish not? So he said, let's stop following all these false gods and all that. Let's follow all these idols that look like what to say, like beasts, herd of flocks. You know what I'm saying? You know, like it's like, hey, let's stop following these things. Let's stop following Molech and all that. You know what I mean? All these false gods, right? That's basically what we're talking about. So in 10 it says, and God saw their works, that they turned from their evil way, and God repented of the evil that he had said that he would do unto them. Okay, I'm sorry. It said, and God saw their works, that they turned from their evil ways, and God repented of the evil that he had said that he would not do unto them, as he did it not. I'm sorry, I read that again wrong. Listen here. It says, and God saw their works, that they turned from their evil way. First of all, right? They turned from their evil way. God saw their works, all the things they were doing to try to prove to God that they got it, right? And then it say, and God repented of the evil, right? The things that they was doing that was going against what God believed, or what God believed, that go against the belief of God, right? And it says that he had said that he would do unto them, right? The evil they're talking about. And he did it not. So he didn't do the evil that he said he was going to do to them, because basically like they changed their mind at the right time, You know what I'm saying? Before he was able to punish them, they start getting right. All right, let's go to 4 right quick. Finish this off. So Jonah 4. It says Jonah's anger at the Lord's compassion. All right. It say, but it displeased Jonah exceedingly. See, first of all, Jonah was mad. Let me go back to the top. So Jonah was mad because God had compassion on the people. So now God finna let him know why he shouldn't be mad, right? It say, but it displeased Jonah exceedingly, and he was very angry. And he prayed unto God and said, I pray thee, O Lord, was not this my saying when I was yet in my country? Therefore I fled before Tarshish, for I knew that thou art righteous. Thou art a righteous God, and merciful, slow to anger, and of great kindness, and repentest thee of the evil. It says, therefore now, O Lord, take, I beseech thee, my life from thee, for it is better for me to die than to live. Then said the Lord, doest thou well to be angry? Right? So it asked them, do you have a reason to be angry? Like, no, you don't have no real reason to be angry, man. You tripping. You see what I'm saying? So now in 5 it say, so Jonah went out of the city and sat on the east side of the city, and there made him a booth and sat under it in a shadow till he might see what would become of the city. And the Lord prepared, the word prepared again, prepared a gourd and made it to come up over Jonah, that it might be a shadow over his head, to deliver him from his grief. So Jonah was exceeding glad, and Now Jonah was exceeding glad of the gourd. But God prepared a worm in the morning, rose the next day. They say, but God prepared a worm when the morning rose the next day, and it smit the gourd that it withered. And it came to pass, when the sun did arise, that God prepared a vehement wind, a vehement east wind, and the sun beat upon the head of John, that he fainted and wished himself to die, and said, it is better for me to die than to live. And God said to Jonah, doest thou well to be angry for the gourd? And he said, I do well to be angry, even unto death. Right? So let me point out the word even. So that means like the evening aspect, like when everything level out. You know, when you right by death and you right by life. You see what I'm saying? You right in the middle, on that ground line that I was telling you about, on that timeline. The earth, when you go down, come back up, is that middle line. All right? So I want to say I'm on 8. It said, and it came to pass when the sun arose, right? So now when the sun did arise, so let's let you know, right? Okay, listen. They were just saying about the even, right? After that. So let's let you know too when the sun is at its highest point, when the sun did rise, like all the way up. You see what I'm saying? And God prepared a vehement east wind. So the sun had just came up, and the sun beat upon the head of Jonah, right? So it's in the middle. It's at the even point, right? That he fainted and wished himself to die because it was hot, all right? They putting that work on him, right? So 9 said, and God said to Jonah, doest thou well to be angry for the gourd? And he said, I do well to be angry, even unto death. Then said the Lord, thou hast had pity on the gourd, for the which thou hast not labored, neither madest it grow, which came up in a night and perisheth in a night. Right? It say, you trying to take credit for something that you didn't work for. You know what I'm saying? You ain't worked to believe in that or to be attached to that, right? So it say, and should not I spare Nineveh, that great city, wherein are more than 600,000 people that cannot discern between the right hand and their left hand, and also much cattle, right? So he let them know, man, like, you got some nerves. I ain't crucify you for believing in that gourd just then, you do images and all that kind of stuff, but you know what it means, supposedly. But look, I ain't punished you for that, so I know you're going to let these other people make it. That's exactly what he's saying. Like, these people can't even discern between good and evil, and you already got a little bit of sense, and you still falling off. So what you expect about people that don't know anything? Jonah went into the bottom of the beast, the belly of the beast, down to the bottom of the mountain, down into false gods and all that stuff, until he had to get delivered. All right, so let's check out a few words right quick. Let's look at the word fish, and then we're going to close the thing out. Let's check out the word fish right quick. The first definition is a limbless, cold-blooded vertebrate animal with gills and fins and living whole in water, right? So now you read that too fast, you might not catch it. It's a living wholly in water, right? So that sounds like the holy water to me. This word holy means like holy, H-O-L-Y. And this word holy, if I'm not mistaken, means the word holy, H-O-L-Y, means whole, W-H-O-L-E. All right? So then you know, mention the water. Okay, we get it. Okay. So it's a catch or try to catch fish, typically by using a net or hook and line. Right? And some of those synonyms are angle, cast, right? Trawl, which we already know. So Jonah was cast out to catch people, right? When you say we're gonna make you fishers of men, you see what I'm saying? Like cast your net, put your net down. We're gonna make you fishers of men, right? This is what we're talking about. We're talking about fishers of men. That's what we're speaking of right here, right? That's a good part of that of what we're talking about. So now let's check out this second definition. Because the second definition, the second fish word is different from this one, and it got a little more detail. All right? So now fish, the second word fish. It's a flat plate or metal wood. It's a flat plate of metal, wood, or another material that is fixed on a beam or across a joint in order to give additional strength, especially on a ship's damaged mast or spar as a temporary repair. Oh my, that's a lot of different ideas I got out of that, right? So now when we're talking about the beam or the cross to make a joint, that's like a cross, right? Like the cross of Jesus. That's like what the fish is too. So this is something like the help you get out type thing, right? So now it says it gives additional strength. So it gives you strength. So it gives you a little power. It helps you make a way, basically, right? Give you additional strength. You talk all you talk about the fish now. And then it says, especially on a ship damaged mass, right? So basically like a damaged amount of people for the most part is how it's looking like. People that need help, people that's trying to get understanding and trying to learn, right? And then it says as a temporary repair. So you know when they be with the metal and the wood and all that, they were making false gods with all that material, okay? And so even like the 5 churches and all the stuff they believe right now today, right? They like for temporary repairs. Like church is a temporary repair. Like people go to church every week to get a quick fix to get them through the rest of the week, and then they go back again. You see what I'm saying? So it's like a temporary repair. That's like what religion is. And also, you know, Jesus is a symbol for the fish. You know what I'm saying? Like the fish symbol. You know, that's what they use Jesus for. All right, so now, you know that fish can also mean men or strength in a beam, joint, fast put together, right? And you know it can also mean that, let me go back down again so you can see, oh my bad, let me see, I want to show y'all something. Let me show you something, right? So, you know, in early 16th century, probably from fisher to fix, based on the Latin frigere, all right? So that means to fix. So the fish was designed to fix Jonah. Okay? I'm just trying to run through it real quick, man, just so y'all can get it and y'all can just go back and follow on your own time and get deep into it. I'm just trying to wham you. All right? So now listen. So the fish representing fixing something. All right? So fixing the afflictions and all that stuff that Jonah was going through. Okay? So let's go to sea and show how sea relates to people. All right? Like I said, I ain't gonna waste too much time about it. I'm just gonna go ahead and try to get straight to it where I know how to go. So first of all, peep game, we're seeing is large waves and it's a roughly definable area of the sea. All right? So large lakes, you know what I'm saying, and it's a roughly definable area of the sea. All right? And let's say wave, breaker, roller, comber, below. All right, remember that word, below. Okay, now look what it say too. It say used to refer to waves as opposed to a calm sea. All right, so that means the waves in this sea are like rough. They are violent, you know, turbulent, you know, stuff like that. So that means that, like I said earlier, that seas are not intended to be calm. You see what I'm saying? It's as opposed to calm. But technically, seas are wavy. And you know how waves go, and it's crashing and all that stuff, right? So, but I already told y'all the symbolic meaning of what's going on, but on the literal sense, you can just see how these ain't no calm waves. So it's something supernatural to make these waves calm down. You see what I'm saying? But in the story, they would have you to believe that it was just out of nowhere, the sea was just turbulent. But nah, technically, they always that way. All right? So now, you got the word below. Okay, and it say a vast empire or quantity of something. All right, so that's what this means. Okay, so now let's go to tempestuous, because that was a big word in I think in the first or second chapter. They using that quite a few times. All right, so it say characterized by strong and turbulent or conflicting emotion. All right, so when they say they was tempestuous and all that kind of stuff, they was talking about emotion. So your emotions could be strong, your emotions could be turbulent, or they could be conflicting, right? That's what their emotions were when you're being tempestuous. That's what it is. So now you see it also means stormy, okay? Violent, wild, okay? Uncontrolled, all right? So that's why they came and get Jonah. That's why the shipmaster came to get Jonah, to bring the ship under control, because it was all out of control. People were just believing anything, believing anywhere. And that's why the whole story is speaking of like stormy and turbulent, you know, not necessarily turbulent, but y'all know what I'm saying. for it to be like rough seas and all that. All right, so now you got very stormy. Okay, so it's stormy, that plus okay, windy, gusty, blowy, rain, rough, choppy. So it's still explaining choppy and rough and all that kind of stuff. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And I forgot to show y'all how. I think I forgot to show y'all how C's supposed to be representing people. All right. So now, yeah, you see, you got all that. Let's see what the order.
Yeah, my bad too for being unorganized, people. Trying my best to goddamn get it mixed up right for you. You know what I'm saying? Get it organized for you. So I had my little images all mixed.
Make it out on that.
Go
back to it.
You know.
Like,
so that's my fault. That's being patient. As long as we get to the understanding, that's all that matters, huh? As long as we get to the understanding. Yeah, y'all see what it is. Y'all see how C means people and all that. Y'all get my point.
Tempestuous. All right, let's see what it means. The origin. All right, don't really give it nothing special. All right, so we see that's what all that means. All right, boom. Now let me go back to C, because that's what it's been showing y'all how C equal people. C.
I see equal people, large number of people.
All right.
Gathering of people.
Click down here. I showed y'all a large lake already. Showed y'all roughly area of the sea. Click down here, click more. That's what you gotta do. You gotta click on more. And then boom, you see where they hide multitude, host, profusion, abundance, or plethora.
Yeah, let me try to show you.
Right? But see how they was trying to hide that? They were gonna show that. Now boom, you click on multitude. Then you get a large number, right? Swarm, army, right, legion, sea, abundant, profusion, right? Whatever. Then you get mountain, right? So notice, a multitude is related to mountain. So mountain don't necessarily mean no earth mass, earth mass or anything like that. You see what I'm saying? It can also mean a multitude. Boom. So now next definition, what you got? A large number of people. So they let you know multitude equals C, and all that can equal a large number of people, right? So you got a large gathering of people. Same thing, right? Then you got the mass of ordinary people without power or influence. Uh-oh, now that's a little problem too now. So not only was it a sea of people, right? It was a sea of people that didn't have power or influence. So pay attention to that. Right. They didn't have power or influence, ordinary people. So look at some of these synonyms, right? The one that caught my attention was assembly,
mass ordinary people without
the assembly of God. Then you got congregation, right? The congregation of the church, the church congregation, right? Then you got flocks, you know what I mean? Boom, got a flock. Then you got the sheep. You know how they say?
That's crazy, man.
How the pastor be like, my flock. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, come on, man. Stop being flocks and stop being sheeple. When you consider yourself as a part of the flock or part of the congregation or the assembly or anything like that, right? You see what you're calling yourself. Ordinary people without power or influence.
Look at that.
You got to change that, man. So you find yourself stuck in that kind of category. That's why. Because you consider yourself to be a flock, a sheep, a part of the congregation. Stuff like that, man.
They're dealing with the word
assembly of God.
Get it twisted.
Come on, man. Y'all gotta quit listening to people. Y'all gotta start looking up these words and looking for yourself.
You do gotta look for yourself.
So archaic meaning the state of being numerous. Yeah, that's basically all I want to show you how. Yeah, multitude means many. So I just want to let y'all know how it all relates. How it go from C. You see how the C? I'm still the C right here. Boom. Multitude. That's a synonym. So that's how they hide stuff from you. You gotta look at word for word. I've been finding Google to be the best way to do it because they just show it all at one time. You know what I'm saying? Right in your face. You just go click on them and you just follow them. You know what I'm saying? And it ain't going to the Bible concordance because a lot of times when people go to the Bible concordance, They basically hiding it from you. You see what I'm saying? Because they're telling you what to think. So if they trying to hide, they trying to code stuff from you, then they gonna make sure you ain't gonna find it. You see what I'm saying? Because they're gonna put it under the way they want it to be, so that you don't understand.
Yeah, they are the people that's trying to keep you under control, keep you in submission.
So boom, let's go to billow right quick. That's the word. So billow is a large, undulating mass of something, typically cloud, smoke, or steam. All right. So it's a large, undulating mass of something.
Billow.
So that's a large. So it's a lot of something, right? Then you know how they always use clouds in the scriptures. So boom, now you see what cloud can be represented. Now this is a verb. It says a fabric filled with air and swell outward. All right. So now let's go down and see what the origin is. See if it gives us anything. Okay. I think it was something special about this word. I looked this word up before. Let me see what this is. But this, the word billow comes from this word. Let's see what Brett will come up for us. Get into some print shit. Let me go back right quick. I must do that wrong. Let me just go right to billow. Let's see. Billow. Billow. Boom. Alright. I think I'm going down to the bottom to see what the other word was. Yeah, that's the word. Be a gear. It look like it. So. Be a gear. Let's see what that says. See if it gives anything.
Yeah, man, I hope I recorded it good enough this time for y'all to be able to at least read
y'all
and
go
follow.
to this stuff too, man. Y'all can find all that kind of stuff. Look, because it's already talking about some paganism stuff and all that. I don't know what that stuff all about.
Y'all gotta dig into these words, man.
Breaker.
Gotta
I
dig.
saw something about breaker already under one of the other definitions. Y'all remember that? So let's see. So this means wave, billow, something which reminds of a wave. Oh, whoa, wait a minute. See, that's another clue. Let you know that don't necessarily mean that it is a wave. It says something which reminds of a wave. Okay? Boom. So yeah, man, I think that's pretty much it. I already showed y'all that seeing wave, showed you the fish, showed you the tempest. Alright. Yeah, I think for the most part that's it, man. So just so y'all know, man, it's more to it than just a goddamn, I don't even mean to cuss like that, but yeah, it's more to it than just a well, man. You gotta get on it, you gotta get to it. You understand there's way more to it than that. So yeah, man, most definitely. I appreciate y'all for tuning in to the show again, and I hope y'all got a different understanding and a better clarity of what the book of Jonah was all about in the belly of the fish, right? Which I probably rename it and say the belly of hell. Y'all know you mentioned that one time, so that means he was going through an issue, man. He was going through a thing, and it was pretty tough for him, but he made it out to the top. And so the moral of the story is, man, eventually you're going to have to do what God told you to do, right? And we all fall down sometime, but you just got to get up. And sometimes it's the only one, you the only one that can save everybody. You're the only one that can keep the ship from sinking. And so don't hide your light. You feel me? You know, when people need help and they need to make it out, and you might be the one that has the key, you can't keep it to yourself, man, because God gonna want you to pay what you owe. You feel me? You got to pay your dues, right?
You can't run from the dudes. Everybody got to go through the trials and tribulations in order to make it to the top, right? So many times people want to make it to the top, but they're not willing to go through the trials and tribulations to get there. They just look at the bright side. They see the glitter and the glamour, and they don't understand there's a lot of hard work to go along with that. It's a lot of hard work that comes with that. And so, when you ain't work for nothing, it's a given. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna appreciate it. You feel me? Just like when the Lord was telling them, like, you didn't even work for the gourd, but you know what I'm saying, you sad about it. You know what I'm saying? You ain't earned it. It's like once you earn something, you know the difference. So man, I definitely appreciate y'all, everybody who decided to check it out. And like I said again, I hope y'all gain something out of it. Hope you can use this in your life when you're going through your trials and your tribulations, when you're stuck into the belly of the beast. And you gotta cry out to the Lord, man, and let him know that you're serious about your business. And he will put you on dry land, vomit you out on dry land, right? In order for you to go to work. So, with that being said, I'm out.
Check it. It's been a long time coming, but I stayed in the race. It's been a long time coming, but I kept a steady pace. I'm passing by my competition cause they ran out of water or running a marathon. These boys running the